Hey guys, it's Sasha with Rice and Raw, and I've been asked to make a video about my comments and thoughts on a recent video that Earthling Nutrition posted. This video is about an hour long, and it is a really good compilation of studies and just fact-based information that I give her a lot of props. I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a scientist, so when people come forth with these great videos where they've really researched, they've really done their due diligence, and they can interpret this for, the masses, people watching the video, I always really highly respect that because that's not my forte. It's not something I'm really equipped to do. So after watching her video, I watched it all the way through. I think she made a lot of really good points, and I know people are going to be surprised, but I actually, I give her a thumbs up, honestly, and I'm not saying, no, she's wrong. I know some people might expect me to be against that because, I am someone who's had a lot of success on a raw to 4, raw to whenever diet, whatever you're going to call it. And I'm very passionate about eating enough food. So does that mean I'm going to disagree with her? No, because this does not mean don't eat enough food. This just means overeating, it is possible to gain weight on this lifestyle. Yes, it is, and we've seen it. I think what the source of a lot of the issues that people face on this diet, so there's like a group of people who are like, this diet works, it's awesome, game changer, lost so much weight, my health has improved, everything is falling into place. And then we have the group of people where they're gaining tons of weight, they have acne, they're upset, they're like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing ever, why isn't this working for me? I'm doing this for like a year, what's going on? And I'm starting to really think that, my hypothesis here is that we're all obviously listening to the same message from Freely Enduring Writer, but we're interpreting it in different ways. So when I heard Freely Enduring Writer say, eat as much as you want, smash in the carbs, sorry, that was totally more British accent. And I interpreted that as eat in abundance, as in eat as much as I want, eat till I'm full, eat when I'm hungry, don't eat if I'm not hungry. That's how I interpreted that. And I interpret it also as like a mindset, like a mentality. It's just changing my relationship with food. And I found that to be very, very helpful. Someone else might have viewed the video and thought, oh, I can eat as much food as I want and never get fat. And then she's like, sedentary girl eating 4,000, 5,000 calories and wondering why she's gaining weight. But Freely Enduring Writer said you can never gain fat on carbs. Only fat makes you fat. So it's like that direct interpretation that is just, it's kind of too exaggerated and too, you don't really think it through. I think a lot of the people who have success in this lifestyle think about things logically and think about them as they apply to, as it applies to themselves. And all of the successful people who eat a high carb vegan diet all eat completely differently because we all have decided to take what we like from all of these different, raw to 4, raw to whatever, 80-10-10, Starch Solution, build it into our own dietary package. And so I don't eat exactly the same as Izzy. And actually, I want to just mention Izzy made a really good response video to Earthling Nutrition's video. And I agree with Izzy. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want all of us to kind of get on the same page. Because, whether it be raw to 4, raw to whatever, Starch Solution, 80-10-10, it's like, it's all the same thing. We're all in the same boat. All of the recommendations are going to be relatively similar. And so that's why I'm saying intuitive eating is actually very, very similar to eating as much as you want. Because eating as much as you want, at least in my interpretation, means eat for your appetite, eat until you're full, don't eat if you're full, eat when you're hungry, which is the same principles as intuitive eating. The only thing with Enduring Writer and Freely's recommendations is that they do have that calorie minimum there, and I honestly think that is important, and I think it's a safeguard, and I think it would be not responsible to say, no, eat as much as you want. If you're eating 1,000 calories, it's working for you, fine. That's just not healthy. And that can lead to a lot of problems like hair loss, vitamin deficiencies. Honestly, it just so many things in general. It's just not healthy. Also, what you're going to run into is low energy, not wanting to work out, not wanting to be active, mood swings. If you're eating less, you're going to have weird mood swings. Also, if you're eating less, you might not have as good quality of sleep. So again, that's going to attribute to the mood swings. That could honestly, lack of sleep can lead to depression, lead to chemical imbalances. So you're just inviting a host of issues if you're eating under 2,000 calories. And I know that people have said in my other videos, oh, but Freely has recommended 2,500 calories on raw tofu being the absolute minimum. I've seen Freely actually make videos saying that, yes, that's the ideal minimum. You know, it's an ideal thing to aim for, but anything over 2,000, you're going to be okay. And I know that's anecdotal, and she's seen hundreds of cases. I've seen hundreds of cases too. I mean, she's probably seen thousands of cases. I've seen hundreds. And I have my own experience, and I know it's anecdotal, but I do agree with that, because if you're eating under, like I said, there's a host of issues that can pop up, and it's much less likely that those issues are going to happen when you're eating a substantial amount of calories, enough for your body, which is usually over 2,000 calories. And the thing is, 2,000 calories is not a large ask. It's not this crazy calorie recommendation. Yes, they kind of got a lot of attention from saying, oh, we eat 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories a day. But you need to remember that you're doing this for you. You're not doing this because of, because Freely eats a certain amount, you have to eat a certain amount. I don't eat as much as Freely. I've been very open with my calorie ranges, and I eat anywhere from 2,000 calories to 3,500 calories. 2,000 calories or more on the day where it's like, I'm really busy at work, I have no appetite. When I get stressed at work, it's very hard for me to eat. And then 3,500 calories on the days maybe I'm lifting, my appetite's up, it's a great day, we went out to a restaurant and I got to eat some really great food. It's some of those days. So I would say that 2,800 would be my average calorie intake for each day. And so that means I'm eating anywhere from 400 grams of carbs to 700 grams of carbs. And in Earthling Nutrition's video, she talks about a study that has said that, if you eat over, I forgot, sorry, I totally forgot exactly. And I think Izzy mentioned it too. I think it was 600 grams. Then you do kind of risk putting on fat from carbohydrates. So yes, and that makes sense. It's reasonable. You cannot make the claim that no matter how many carbohydrates you eat, you'll never gain weight. Obviously, that's not true. Like I said, it's kind of more of a mentality they were trying to build into people, which kind of got misconstrued into like this exact thing. So yes, if you're eating 4,000 calories as a sedentary girl and you're wondering why you're gaining weight, that's why. Knock it back down to a point where you're comfortable eating the amount of food you're eating. You're hungry, you eat, you're full, you stop eating. It makes sense, right? Make sure you're not going under, 2,000 calories. And then look, oh, we sound exactly like, the people who recommend intuitive eating, except with the calorie minimum safeguard, honestly, for your safety, for your health. Of course, like all I really care about is that, one, the animals, that side of veganism, that people are trained to veganism, and for the animal aspect, honestly. And number two is that people are comfortable with food, and that there's no discomfort with food. There's no animosity towards food. There's no guilt because you ate. And that's what I really care about. So I've noticed that, of course, anecdotal, I've noticed that if you're eating under 2,000 calories, it's usually a forced thing. It's usually like you're kind of like, maybe I shouldn't have the rest of this rice, or maybe I shouldn't finish, the rest of this, even though I could totally finish it right now and be happy finishing it. Really, what I care about is eat for your appetite. Make sure you are eating enough, because another thing too is actually very important. All the people who have ever fallen off the wagon on veganism, whether it be they've been vegan for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, it's always the same thing as to why they stopped being vegan, because they were either doing juice fasting, juice cleansing, water fasting, eating low amount of calories, just fasting in general. Literally everyone I've talked to who has stopped being vegan, even people who've been vegan for 20 years or more, I've talked to them like, well, what did you do? What was the kind of foods that you'd be eating? And they tell me I went on a fasting retreat for 2 weeks. I, would do juice cleansing, and it's always that. And I'm like, maybe you weren't eating enough food. So that's another thing is why it's important to eat enough calories on this lifestyle, is because if you're eating under the amount of calories, it's much more enticing to go back to what you knew as that dense source of calories. And to be honest, even now, if I'm really hungry and sometimes the thought of like a buffalo chicken floats through my mind, or thought of pizza floats through my mind. And not that I would want to eat that, but the nostalgic like idea of it kicks in and goes, that would be really tasty right now. And if I was chronically like undercarved or not eating enough calories, that would become much, much more of an urge for me to do. So again, that's why it's important to be eating enough calories to not be hungry on a high carb vegan diet. So yeah, with that being said, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover in this, and I hope I did not upset people by saying, kind of making fun of people who eat 4,000 calories and sitting around not doing anything, wondering why they're not losing weight. It's just, yes, listen to, you gotta listen to people where it resonates with you and interpret their message and think about how you're interpreting their message and truly what would be beneficial for you. Like I've said many times before, all the successful people on a high carb vegan diet have completely different diets from everyone else because they've made this diet their own. I did not follow Freely's Raw to 4 book. I don't. I found my own way that works for me. However, that does not mean that I'm saying Raw to 4 doesn't work. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. It's very, very similar. There's very small changes. Like, I don't like eating potatoes as much, or, stuff like that. I don't eat sweet potatoes at all. There's, taste preferences that come into play. There's food timing preferences that come into play. Sometimes I like having 2 meals a day, 2 big meals a day, like really big meals. Some people like snacking throughout the day. That doesn't mean that we need to label ourselves completely differently. Well, she's a snacker, I'm a mealer. There's no need to do that. We don't need to label the differences between us. There's already such a small amount of us. So, all right, with that being said, sorry about the little rant at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and that this has helped shed some light on kind of like my way of eating on this lifestyle, how people are successful in this lifestyle, and how you can be successful in this lifestyle. All right, guys, I hope you're having a happy and healthy day, and I will see you later. Bye.